Welcome to the Geeky Grandma with an Encouraging Nudge podcast. Hi, my name is Jill McCarthy from Central New York State, and this is our 57th podcast. And this morning we have a guest of Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell. Did I say that correctly?
You sure did, Jill.
Okay, I'm going to read her bio and then we'll all get to know her. Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell is the intuitive business coach who leads her clients to live life on fire for the ultimate successful life with peace, joy, and fulfillment. Lynita has an award-winning law firm and publishing house, is a #1 best-selling author, CPA, and ordained New Thought minister, and recognized nationally as an outstanding community leader. Based on her latest book, Lynita loves sharing the formula to the ultimate successful life with peace, joy, and fulfillment. Well, hello there, lady. Nice to meet you.
And you as well. Thank you.
Oh, it's just simply fun to talk to Lynita. You come away grinning and you just feel good inside. And oh, it's nice to meet you. And I see you have your new book right behind you. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Good place to start.
Absolutely. So, my book is called Live Life on Fire, the ultimate guide to the successful life full of peace, joy, and fulfillment. And I released it last December. And I am so excited to be here with you, Jill, and your awesome audience to share the idea that your life success is dependent upon who you are, what you are, and how you serve. It has nothing to do with the worldly stuff. So you can get all of the cars, clothes, money, etc. But if you're not good in here, it's not going to mean anything.
Absolutely. And that's why I like it's the fulfillment, but with the love and the joy and that peace inside. And without it, you really don't have anything but a bag of tricks. So
That's right. That's right.
I peeked at some of Lanita's family pictures and whatever she had on her page, and I see here that she's a minister. She's also married to a pastor, and I bet you it gets pretty lively in that neck of the woods, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes. But I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, no, but it's not just something you say. It's part of who you are
Yes.
and what builds you and your ministry, whatever comes out from you. So it's nice to see someone living that principle.
Thank
So
you.
okay, so we've got a lot of things going on. You have a law firm. Let's start with there. How did you end up going into law? And tell us a little bit about that piece of your life.
Absolutely. So, law is actually my third profession. When I was getting ready to go to college, I had no idea what I wanted to major in. And my mother was like, "You're not going undeclared. That is a waste of money." So she picked my major, which was accounting. And I was like, oh, okay, so let's go in here and learn to count some money. If you're close to money, you should make a lot, right?
Yeah.
And everybody else was like, we're going to get our CPA license. So I said, I'm going to get my license too. Jill, I did not like being an accountant. My personality just didn't fit with that at all. I like people, I like talking, being out and about. And as an accountant, you kind of like at your desk typing a
Yeah.
lot. So
Alone.
yes, and alone. That's don't forget that part. So I went back to school to go pursue law, and I loved it. But my first job out of law school was actually as a client partner, recruiting, and finding other legal professionals and finance professionals jobs. And I really loved it. And I'm so grateful that experience because it taught me the sales skills I needed. So when I did launch my firm, and that was almost 16 years ago, I had the skills needed to get the clients and be sustainable.
Very good. And I bet you your bubbly personality helped to draw people in, and if they were at all interested, you could draw it out of them. So
Absolutely. And I enjoy it, but I also am clear about my skills, gifts, and talents being used in a way that is responsible so that I'm giving my client the best information and advice that they need for their situation.
very
Yeah,
good. And that takes a skill of matching who they are and what they need with what you know is available. That's a great way to mix it up. So
thank you.
okay, it looks like you had kind of a dark night of the soul with some health issues along the way.
I like the way you said that, a dark night of the soul. Can I use that? I'll give you credit.
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm sure I took it from somebody else.
So, yes, so I was doing very well with my firm. And I had a time in my life where I was like, I want to write a book. I want to share the things that I have learned and how I transitioned from one career to another. And it was called Leading Through Living, a guide for women seeking growth through leadership. And I put it into the world, and people were like, yes, I want to read it, bring you into my organization speaking. And then I started helping other people publish their books, and then I started representing people. And then I founded the media company, and we had 5 magazines going. We were covering the red carpet. Plus, my husband entered the ministry, and my daughter was small. And I was getting all of this success, right? All of this recognition. And Jill, I was addicted. I loved hearing people say, "Oh, Lanita, you're just so wonderful. I just love having you around," right? And it was great. This was my dream. But then my dream turned into a nightmare because my 6 year old found me in the middle of the floor, passed out from exhaustion. And I could not get up. And instead of me tucking her in that night, she had to tuck me in. She literally took her Disney blanket from her bed and put it on my body and put a little pillow under my head and kissed me on the forehead and said, "Good night, mommy." And the only thing I had strength to do was to say, "Good night, baby." And I knew I needed to change things, but I did not even know where to start. I was raised with the most amazing community, wonderful parents, love the Lord, believe in service, work hard. So to shift from that, I was going to need another intervention. And so I had it not a year later where I started bleeding very heavily. And I went to the doctor and I was diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis. And it had spread everywhere to the place where when they went in, it had reached my lungs. And they said they actually sewed me back up. They could not do the surgery, and they said, um, "We don't know how this is going to go. So you need to sign all these waivers and disclosures." And I was like, you know what, Lord, if you bring me through this, I will not wind up back here like this. And I meant it. And so when I got out of surgery, I got help. I started working with a performance coach, Reverend Rowena Silvera Beck, and I learned some techniques to calm down, to center, to de stress through the Art of Living Foundation with Mona Shaw Joshi. And in doing that, I was able to pare my life down from literally, Rowena had me list everything I was doing, and it was 7 pages, single space. And she had me pare that down. Yeah, exactly, to 2 pages. And then Mona helped me develop a structured prayer and meditation life so that I could sustain those 2 pages and not get drawn back into that life. And that's been 10 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's quite a story. And that could you just take a minute, and our ladies, our audience could be anybody from 45 to 85,
Yeah.
maybe a few older, we don't know. But these are hardworking gals. They've given their lives for their families, their community, their career, and we want them to use this extra section of life that we have these days,
Yes.
and to live it faithful to their God, faithful to their
Yes.
talents, but
Yes.
not without giving up their health. What would you say to them? Just talk right straight to the audience.
Ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing to do is to figure out what you're passionate about, because that is going to lead you to your purpose in this next act of life. I shared with Jill prior to coming to the show that my mom has been a serial entrepreneur, excuse me. And last year, at the tender age of 75, she launched her baking business, Auntie's Baked Goodies. And has it been daunting? Absolutely. But she's passionate about being loving and caring and providing the best food to put inches on your hips. And so, because she is passionate about it, the obstacles that tried to come, we've been able to make it through those, such as the tech barrier. Things have changed a lot from having this place that you had to have, the brick and mortar, to now having a very robust website so that you can sell your goods and services, and even managing your Rolodex. It's no longer a physical one, it's the mailing list, and staying in contact and doing the social media to let people know that not only are you out here and we want you to buy, because we do, but it's that other part of knowing that we're here to serve. So, Jill, that's what I would say. When you know what your passion is, it's going to lead you to your purpose, and then that will allow you to serve in the unique way that you can.
Yes, I agree fully with that. Thank you. Um, one thing that I found, I really love doing digital artwork on my computer. I'm a graphic techie geek. Strange for a grandma, but hey, that's me. And I know when I'm doing what God built me to do,
Mhm.
doing the passion He put in my heart, it gives me, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just saying that much out loud, because when you're doing what He made you, not only is it helpful to other people, it fills you up in such a terrific way. It just fits.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And I tell you, that's what I have found even with my work, because as a lawyer, sometimes, yes, it can get stressful, but I'm able to pull into and really tap into the other things that make me me, to not just be of service to the client that's sitting in front of me, but to the community as well. And this message of living a peace, joyful, loving, fulfilling life, that's something that I'm doing alongside everyone else as we're all going to work every day.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And that fulfillment part, closer you align to to all the pieces of you and who you
Yes,
are,
yes,
that's when you begin to get the fulfillment and the feedback, and that keeps you yeah, you still have to take care of the physical and the mental, but it helps, it gets you in a feedback loop, which if you're
yes,
missing that, then you're just like, you end up burned out on the floor, and we none of us want to be there. And that's a hard place to come back from. But once we've been there, we have a new amount, a new depth to bring to our clients and
Yes.
to help them to hopefully some of learn from some of our mistakes so that they can get through it a little smoother and go a little further down the line.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, how did you get in the ministry?
So I would say that ministry is in me. I am a fifth generation PK. I'm married to a pastor. So there was really no getting away from that. But I've always been clear that my ministry was not to be in a pulpit, right? It was always to be out and about with people. And I would love to tell you that I have always lived this life that said pastor, but that's not true. And I think that it is disservice to ministry when we're not honest about the journey that brought us here. Because the thing that resonates most with people is when I share with them my journey, that there was a time where I very much measured success against somebody else and what they had. And it was never going to be enough because you're always going to find someone else who has more. So as soon as you get to what someone else has, someone else walks by and you're like, I want that too. And it's not to say we don't want nice things, that we don't want to be recognized and appreciated, right? Of course we do. That's part of the human experience, but it can't define you. And so I found that that has very much been my ministry, to help people break out of that and create their own definition of success. So instead of it being stuff and perfection, checking off somebody else's ideas of what your life should look like, it is excellence. You have created a life that is loving and joyful and peaceful and pleasing to you. And you've given yourself grace so that it can shift and change and evolve over time.
That part is important because you could have had a fantastic success 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But what have you been doing since then? Are you growing?
Yes.
And I'm much more introverted than your style. I've learned to talk and all of that. So I've gained. I know I'm not the little accountant either. So
Yeah.
okay, oh, I almost lost my train of thought. But we are each so unique, and if we if we're still relying on that thing that we did 20 years ago, I know what I was saying. I like sameness because I don't have to worry. I don't have to get excited. I like it being nice and smooth and comfortable. I know that might be boring to you, but that helps me to manage my nervous system. But if I give it so same, so comfortable, I'm stunning my growth. And I don't need to do that. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And this is a strange story. But I live in a small town, much different than your Atlanta. But we had this one little diner. And my dad even used to go to this diner. So it's been there for a long time. And my husband and I love to go there. And we'll go there because it's a Tuesday night or because I burnt the beans or whatever. And after 36 years, that diner moved to another town. Now, it
Wow.
was and now only 15 miles down the road, so it's not a big deal. You can go there, and we have. But all of a sudden, where are we going to go to eat? We got to pick a new place,
Yeah.
and we got to try some new foods
Yeah.
and see some new people. And now we get some new, fresh experiences. Do we still like the old place, the old person and his staff? Sure, we do. and we'll be loyal occasionally, but we have new opportunities and new growth. And now my nervous system is stronger and it can handle new environments. And
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to greater and better adventures. And it feels really good.
You know, it's interesting, Jill. I recently was introduced to a personality test called Quantum Human Design, and I tested out as a generator. And they have, it's complicated, and they have all these little parts to it. But one of the little parts was major for me, and I think it applies to you as well. And it said that for my personality type, that I have three stages in life. And in each of those stages, they serve a purpose in life development. And one of them is just to be stable. Sameness is important for the rest and the rejuvenation, to give a place for new ideas to develop, to really be in contact and and context with what you say you're about, and to match that up with how you're really living. And you know, that consistency that you're talking about with the same cafe, the same restaurant, that was your time. And then when it left, it was time to move on to the next stage. And you did
You're
it.
Yeah, and I'm doing it, and I'm having fun at it. Yeah, there's some strange quirks I got to get used to, but that's okay. And you're right. I have taken that test too. Only I'm a projector. I do
Uh-huh.
have the stages like you, but I don't have the same energy to do 20,000 things, because when I talk to you, my energy reaches into you to listen. That's what
Yes,
my energy is. And if you give me a list of 20,000 things, I will dutifully stay to them all, but I shouldn't. I should I need to take in new information and new thoughts and let them to develop, and then I might get a burst of energy. I may do a
yes,
ton in 1 hour.
yes.
And that's the way I was made. And I love learning and taking those kind of quizzes. I've got a whole notebook with my results. And the more I know about me, the more in alignment I become,
Yes,
and then the further out I can reach. And I call the I mean that fits in with my faith too. The more I know how God designed me, the better I can use who he made me to be.
absolutely. Because I look at my life and where I am now versus where I was 10 years ago. And you would think that things would have fallen off because I'm not involved in so much, but actually they've increased. And I think it comes from trial and error, seeing what I liked, what I didn't, but also developing as a person who is empathetic, who can be kind, who measures her words even when she's angry. Like, just being very transparent. I had a exchange with a client before this, and it just really made me angry. And there was a time when I would have said exactly what was on my mind, but I felt this tempering feeling, this spirit come over me and say, no, we'll deal with that later, when at a time and place where we can say this in love. And 10 years ago, that would have been a no.
Well, just I want to throw this out on the flip side. 10 years ago, I couldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it. I would have stuffed it in my body till it made me sick.
Oh my
And
God.
now the spirit might say to me, that needs to come out, and
Yes,
let's try it in a safe way.
yes.
So there's different ways to work, and that's what's so wonderful, that God knows how each one of us is made and how many hairs we each have on our head.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So Um, uh, you've got a small group coaching academy.
Yes, it's called the Leading Through Living Academy. And we go through the blueprint of how to live life on fire. And we hold one another accountable so that we don't slip backwards. Because the old life is still there. And the reason it's still there is because a lot of the people who we were involved with are still there. It's not like I'm asking you to junk your spouse and your kids, or to close your business and run away to the mountains. That's not realistic, right? What we're asking is that you learn to implement these new methodologies into your life so that you can really enjoy right now. We spend so much time, Jill, planning for tomorrow, for that next thing, that we forget that if now is not taken care of, next can't come, tomorrow can't come. And that's what my health battle really showed me, that I had all these plans to see my daughter graduate, to one day be with our grandchildren, to build this monumental empire. But if I'm not around, I can do none of that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So fire in this context is not the combustible, destructive force that we have learned to view fire as. Fire is a signal. Fire is wisdom. Fire is a call to do something differently. And so when I say live life on fire, it is a call to action, to take what you have been doing and realize that it's not working anymore. The things that used to give you so much pleasure, it's been shrinking. And the idea of happiness, while it's nice, you're really looking for something beyond that, which is joy. And the difference between the two is happiness is momentary and it is dictated by external forces. You're happy if it's sunny, but you're sad if it's raining. So that means the weather is going to hijack you every day. No, you want to be joyful. You want to say, no matter what the weather is, I'm so grateful to be even to experience able to experience this day, that I have eyes to see it. I can smell the rain in the air. I can feel the sun on my skin. And it's not to compare what you have to someone else, because I've seen people do that. At least I have eyes to see. No, 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 no. This is being in this present moment and grateful what's going on here and everything that you have, and understanding that it is for the purpose of evolution and evolvement of your soul. And people are going to see that, and they're going to come and ask you what you're doing. And then you can share. And then they will implement it into their lives in a way that makes sense for them. And Jill, I ardently believe that if more people did that, we would not have the level of violence, anxiety, pain, depression, struggle in this world, because we will be operating on pure gratitude and thanksgiving. And that is love.
Do you have anyone? This is the encouraging with a nudge, gentle nudge. Do you have any? Yeah, you probably just said it 3 seconds ago, but do you have any last nudge that you'd like to give our guests, and then we'll close?
Absolutely. I would encourage you to live a life that is authentic to you, that the race for happiness is over. We're now pursuing joy. And it's not going to be found externally, it's going to be found within. And the way to get there is through gratitude. Start first with being thankful for the little things, every digit on your hands and on your feet, that you have legs and arms to hug. You can hear this awesome podcast with Jill, the geeky grandma. There are so many things to be grateful for. And once that feeling fills your heart, you'll be able to go out into the world and there's nothing that can stop you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being my guest today. And on that note, we'll sign off. Bye bye. See you in the funny papers. Bye bye for now.